Welcome to CryptoCoins, where we review the best coins for you.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about real world assets and specifically the tokenization of gold and a project that is working on doing that to a substantially new level. But before we get into it, just a reminder that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm simply here to bring you different forms of entertainment. Sometimes it's going to be crypto, AI, RWAs. You never know what we'll be talking about. But before, the bottom line is always make sure you are doing your own research, no matter what we talk about on here, no matter where you hear it from, anywhere on the internet. Make sure you are going and doing your own research and making sure that any kind of financial decisions you're making of your own accord. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. As I said, we're talking about tokenization and gold. Right now, gold is trading at an all-time high, which far surpasses many of the most bullish forecasts of 2025 that were issued by the major Wall Street banks. Gold and silver are having a breakout year, and it's happening because of tariffs and wars, and they've all changed the way that dollars are being used around the globe. What I mean by this is basically we are entering a very volatile era where China, Russia, and their axis are finding ways to transact without using the dollar. And the West is dealing with some massive sovereign debt crises. All kinds of stuff is going on in the world that is transpiring in what we're seeing today. And with gold and silver having a breakout 2025, leading all other major asset classes, it has brought them to the forefront, and the demand from the central banks is at a record high as well. With this boom in precious metals and in record central bank demand, I believe we might be in a Netflix versus Blockbuster moment. And if you don't remember what Blockbuster is, I get it, I'm old. But this could be a very monumental and significant development in gold commodities, and one of the biggest ones we've ever seen. Everybody understands how Blockbuster's business model basically became completely obsolete and outdated when Netflix offered the exact same content, but through streaming. I mean, even before that, there was a little bit of like Netflix being able to send you videos to your house. That's a time no one really remembers, but they were already kind of starting to assert their dominance in that way. But whenever they released streaming, it was over. The mechanism of delivery dramatically improved for the user at the end of the day, and that product was upgraded. The experience of the end consumer was so positive that it was like night and day. And that caused Blockbuster to go out of business. And Netflix went from launching its first stream to becoming one of the largest companies on earth, from $1 per share in 2002 all the way up to $1,200 today. Now, if you want a comparison, ETFs made gold trading accessible to a much larger audience in the 2000s, in much the same way that Blockbuster made branches made movies more accessible to cinema goers. But the next revolution that could make the ETFs obsolete today, or at least greatly challenged by better new competitors, might actually be here. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Gold is experiencing a bull market that has shocked many, and the available ETFs on the market right now turn away so many people, many who don't trust the audits or don't trust or at least don't believe that they are fully backed by the underlying metals, or just those who live in dozens of countries where the ETFs are not available to trade. And these are the massive problems that the ETF providers know. They know they have these weaknesses. The largest gold ETF manages more than $120 billion and is growing. Yet, what we're about to talk to today could change that. And, it remains to be seen, and maybe that's just speculatory, and maybe it's because of, Maybe it's just speculatory, but you know, it is a possibility. You know, as I said, the biggest weaknesses they are facing are the doubts about not being fully backed, doubts about their auditing process and the underlying metal vaults, you know, just not among being not accessible to hundreds of millions of investors that reside in developing markets. But and on top of that, they charge fees for managing. But you know, this all said, the billionaire mining tycoon Frank Gustra, along with, you know, some would say a legend, Sean Rusin, are well aware of the opportunity that is being presented to them in disrupting the current ETF providers with a fully backed, vaulted, audited, verified, and yield-bearing financial product, which could be accessible the world over. In fact, Frank Gustra invested in this heavily, so to the tune of 17 million shares, as a matter of fact, of this brand new, just listed NASDAQ company called Streamex, with the ticker symbol STEX, and the sponsor of today's video. That's right, today is sponsored by Streamex. We are going to take a look at them. Basically, they are aiming to revolutionize the industry of owning precious metals and commodities in general by commercializing fully backed, vaulted, audited, and verified ownership of gold and other leading commodities. Again, the ticker symbol for that is STEX, STEX, on the NASDAQ. So, you know, pretty interesting project they have here. If this is a Netflix blockbuster moment, you know, the people who are suspecting it is are people like Frank Gustra, who owns approximately $90 million worth of STEX right now. They think it's a Netflix blockbuster moment. StreamX wants to do to commodity ETFs what Netflix did to movies and TV shows, what Apple did to music and phones. They want to dramatically improve the user experience and make it simpler, easier, and, you know, make a better offer to the global market in that regard, where not everyone can currently access it, but, you know, through RWA tokenization, you could. Right now, Streamex is just lining up the last details before launching its first product, the fully backed yield-bearing gold one. And on top of that major position that Frank has, one of the premier, you know, one of the biggest gold entrepreneurs ever, he owns, you know, a huge chunk, but there are also the two co-founders, each who own 21 million shares worth just north of $100 million. So there is significant skin in the game for the people that are leading this revolution. You know, for years you've been hearing from different people that ETFs are not ideal for them, and, you know, it's hard or impossible to trust because of the backing or the auditing of them, and sometimes because of the simply the management fees and the premiums that are associated with them. But Streamex is launching a potential game changer here, and, you know, if you could compare it metaphorically to the Netflix and Blockbuster incident, this is like before they launched their first ever streaming, because Streamex is just about to launch their first product to a global market, and ETFs can't do that. So far, the company has secured up to $1.1 billion in funding through a mix of equity, convertible debentures, and a line of credit led by Cantor Fitzgerald, the company that was run by Howard Lutnick, Secretary of Commerce, and now managed by his sons, which this funding will allow the company to draw upon and should purchase physical gold to back their products, as well as it is likely to add to their own balance sheets. So it makes it more enticing in that regard. In other words, Streamex, you know, ticker again, STEX on the NASDAQ, would be very likely to be one of the first publicly traded companies to own gold on their books, and that is a very welcome change for many. Their current vision is to launch several gold products and then to expand to silver and others as well. Commodities are ripe for a fintech solution revolution, I should say, compared to today's current ETFs. And for years, you've actually heard from people, even including Warren Buffett, that owning gold does not earn a yield. And now StreamX has pioneered a product that will produce yield so the owner will actually get paid to own gold. The proprietary platform StreamX developed attracted as their chief investment officer, Mr. Mitchell Williams, who not only ran WAFRA, the Kuwati I'm going to skip that. Their proprietary platform itself was developed by the same software experts that built cybersecurity infrastructure for the Capital One Bank, Bank of America, and JP Morgan's credit card processing infrastructure business, one of the largest fintech platforms as well. The token will be on the Solana Coinbase's blockchain, and you know, as well know, tokenization of real-world assets is currently the biggest and most important financial disruption of our times. You can see that over on CNBC. Tokenization of real-world assets is an unstoppable freight train coming to major markets. Robinhood CEO said Robinhood began offering more than 200 tokenized US stocks to customers in the European Union in June, giving them a way to gain exposure to the underlying assets. Tokenization is a huge thing, like it or not, it is here, and it's big. And this is, with StreamX set to launch, this bad boy creates a, as you can see here, StreamX Exchange Corp, NASDAQ, BSGM creates a tokenized yield-bearing gold product generating up to 4% through exclusive partnership with Monetary Metals. With that coming through, they are set to take part in that freight train that is on its way. From NASDAQ to Robinhood and all of the major financial companies, most are scrambling to upgrade their offerings to the chain. And because it is going to potentially open a 24/7 trading on the global scale, this is going to democratize the access of every investor in the world to many more products. And because of that, StreamX doing this with gold is just going to be a huge offering for a lot of people. In my opinion, this could be that Netflix Blockbuster moment, or Nokia and iPhone if you prefer. I just wanted to make you aware of this as we are coming into the launch of this, because we all know the drawbacks of the current ETFs that I've laid out, and we also know the gold's currently in a bull market, and it has sent it to its highest price it's ever been, and that Frank Gustra here has positioned in himself in StreamX in order to take part in that revolution that's coming, that potential revolution that's coming. So this is here he did that before they launched their first product, which is coming in short order. So you still have an opportunity to get in while the getting's good. But as I always say, make sure you go out and do your own research. We'll leave a link in the description so you can go and check it out for yourself. Do your own research on StreamX, which is looking to interrupt the current giants and the commodities ETFs with a fully backed and audited and verified ownership, not to mention redeemable and secured yield-bearing gold, product that hasn't really been able to be offered in this way before. So go ahead and check it out for yourselves and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's all I got for this one. See you in the next one. Peace.